Now, your father-in-law,
Yes.
who gave George his name, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any crazy father-in-law stories?
For him, he tells, it's just usually for us grandkids when we come up with him, and he tells us like what's here and there, especially when we're in the evening like this. So we take a drive, and then he doesn't tell us where we're going, so we tend to just go on the roads until he comes to a point where he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, this is the front porch of Bigfoot. Or it's like, okay, we're in the back tailgate right now, we're scared, so it's just pitch dark. But sometimes he tells stories about how his nieces, nephews, and other like friends he brings up. So down here, down the road between the well area, there's like a dip part. He said that his relatives and stuff go down there, and I guess they had a campsite, so they thought they were like messing around with him, like kind of like yelling or grunting, and they're like, oh, it's probably those guys. But yet again, he was like, we're at the campsite, and I guess those guys said, okay, now cut it out, you're just teasing around with us. And our grandpa was just looking at it, what do you mean, like, why would you say that? And I, no, you're kidding with us, right? Because you guys are yelling. And my grandpa's like, no. And like, you guys took off walking, we stayed here, we didn't do anything like that. Then that's when those guys got scared and they didn't want to go back down there. So our grandpa starts telling us a lot of stories, and hearing like this just behind us heel tells us there's yelling and stuff like that. But I know, well, I don't know if it was summer, that I think it was just us four of us usually, and we're about to head out, and how we usually just use the bright flashlights, shine around and everything. And right when you come to that gate where that heel's just slanted right there, we're looking at eyes, and then sooner or later we're like, what is that? So it was like pretty high for eyes to be up there, and if it's like something running away from that height, it's like, wouldn't it be like closured in, like it's just peeking like this? Then every now and then it goes like this, and we're like, what is that? And we're like, I don't know, keep the light on it. Then it just like goes out, and then you see just the eyes there, and it's like, what is that? Then the next day, we just go back over there, and we're like, it was standing behind that tree, right? But when we go over there, it's a pretty tall tree, like I think it was a dark bark tree, so it looked like something kept going like this, and we tease about it, but we're like, I don't know, what is that anyways? It's probably an owl, it's probably a bird or something like that. But this one was like bright lights, like the eyes were just bright, and it was because we already know what deer is and pretty much animals we see. It's like theirs is like a dimmer kind of thing, so when you shine at it, they'll just look at you, go back down, look at you, or they'll just run away. This one was there quite a while, so it kept going like this, and we're like, what is that? Just kept repeating, and we're like, you know, we should just go.
How high off the ground would you guess?
How high was that tree?
I'd probably say good between 8 to 10 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, because we shined the beams on it with the light, and we saw the tree line. Tree line was at the bottom, and where the eyes were, they were pretty high from what we usually see ourselves standing next to it. And like she said, it was just bobbing its eyes back and forth, and we try to use binoculars or whatever, trying to get a better view of it, and we would just be in awe, like, what is that looking at us? I mean, even for an animal to be from that distance, I would probably say a good 100 yards from us. Even the biggest animal, maybe a bear or whatever, these eyes were pretty gapped, pretty wide. They weren't small. They weren't narrow. They're pretty gapped. So we're like, there's something looking. At that same time, it would be at one position, then all of a sudden we'll flash the flashlight away, then we'll try to catch it back, and it'll be in another position immediately behind another tree. So that did it like 3 times, and we just try to figure what kind of animal or wildlife would do that. And it was like we didn't even hear it run. It was just a quick motion of the light, probably split second and a half away from it, then back to it. It was over at another position.
We ride horses everywhere, and the only place we just don't go is towards this way, where it's thicker. We call it the baseball field. It's just a base, like pretty much a length right there, but yeah, it's just thick with the horses. So if you're like chasing cows or anything, you kind of have to maneuver the horse, and you just kind of move the branches out of the way instead of like this where it's open and you could just go straight up and then catch the cow right there. This one is where you have to go through. So my sister's story is that she was chasing cows with my mom, and I was like, dang, you did that without me? So we were just teasing around, and then she finally told me that she goes, I don't know what I was chasing. And so she saw I was riding Ginger, and she said I was going up the hill, and I guess so she said I thought I was chasing that cow, but yeah, again, I guess I don't know what I was chasing. So she's like, I don't know if I was chasing a bear or something. It sounded like a herd of cows really moving through like branches and stuff and all that. So she was going over there, and then she's like, I lost it. So she had a walkie-talkie telling her mom, saying, I lost the cows, I'll head down to you. Then we communicate with different areas because we name it off. And she was coming back down. As soon as she went on down, she just saw those cows just laying down like they weren't being chased or anything. And then my sister was just like, so what in the world was I chasing? And she was trying to chase the cows back out, but I guess they took the other way. So my sister's like, I'm not going back up there. And she went back to the truck. She goes, Mom, I don't know what I'm chasing, but I'm kind of scared now. And I was like, poor you. So I just know my mom and my sister has like a lot of things going on when they just come up themselves. So usually they hear laughter or like vehicles driving here and there, and that's what we hear too. But we usually just like silent everything, and then we just listen. And sometimes like, it's our grandpa, it's our this, but yet again, like you wait for a few minutes or anything, like no one's coming up. And it's like, I thought he was like going through the like bushes and stuff, like how he does. He just drives recklessly, but get to a destination. And they're like, I thought that was a vehicle. Then sometimes we hear certain things like knocking. So for us girls, we just play around. We're chopping wood and we're just joking around and everything. Then we make really like loud knocks with the woods, and they're all, we tell our sister, oh, you love that sound, huh? She goes, no, I don't like it. You know what happens? They were just teasing around. Then from a far distance, it sounds like an AR, and we're like, is that an AR or is that something else? And we're like, I don't know, just keep chopping. So we kept chopping, and then because we don't like sawing into like deeper woods, we try to stay by the road, so just in case something does come, we just jump in. So we try to saw like out in the open where it's just easy access out. But I guess we're in like a little closure area where we're getting pine, and then that rifle sound, it didn't sound like a rifle because we already know what a rifle sounds like. And it's a kind of like an echoey sound, like if you keep hitting the wood real quick, like real loud. And I was like, that's not a rifle. Then we just jump in and we get scared, but yet we just drive to 07 where that trailer is, and we just wait there. And then we're like, oh, we should just probably go home from here. And we're like, yeah, let's just go home. So there's a lot of things that happens, but here again, sometimes we barely hear it every now and then now.
Wow. How often do you think you hear things or see things? I mean, it sounds like you haven't really had any visual on him just yet. And it sounds like you don't want to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't mind the vocals or the callbacks or certain prints that we find, or knowing that it might be him or her. But to actually see it or be near it, I wouldn't want to even be being there at that point. And I mean, seeing something that you never saw before, and just that shock of what is that, and by experiencing how quick they can move, and especially how tall they are and how strong they are. You know, how long would it catch up to me if I just ran, or you know, who knows, it would attack or do something. You know, we did get photos of it one time, not actual physical of the Bigfoot, but the more insight of how big, you know, George might be. As she brought up the trailer 07. The trailer sits up about probably a good 3 feet. No, yeah, 3 feet tall above the ground. The window of a kitchen window, a small kitchen window, I would say that was above me around probably a good 7 feet. I'm 6 feet, so 7 feet. It's up high. So it rained pretty good that one time in the mountain. I would probably say for a whole week. So we didn't really come up to the mountain until it really settled down, because it's really hard to travel up here with the clay and mud.
Yeah.
So it rained pretty good for a whole week. I think we had to wait for at least a week and a half just to get the roads nice and dry. So when we did that, we went ahead and gone up to 07. I didn't see it at first sight, but then we went ahead and just mind our own business, getting things ready. Then all of a sudden my wife's like, does those things look like hand marks to you? And as we looked at 07, there was mud marks near the window. And I was like, no kidding, that does look like hand marks. You know, trying to play it off. Then she goes, no, really, look at it. So I walked up to it and I looked at it. And sure enough, there was a good set of hand marks, like 5 indent on it, just going downwards. And I was like, oh, I wonder who visit. Now it's like looking at it, now it's like, it has to be someone taller than me. There's no way my father-in-law or anyone else can reach that far. And they're like, oh my gosh, do you really think that might be George? And we were like, I don't know. So I was like, you know what, just take a picture of it. We'll show Dad. We'll show him what we found. So they went ahead and took a picture of me standing next to it. Its height, the fingerprints were probably about a foot above me. Then we went ahead and did the expansion of my arms reaching out full length. I thought I could reach both prints easily, but as soon as I did that, they're probably good, I would say 6 inches away from the furthest fingertips. I couldn't even stretch further enough to get to it. And we took pictures, we sent it to my father-in-law, and he was surprised that we got that. I'm not sure it might be still there to this day, but we never touched it. We just left it. And we always told our guests when they come up, yeah, look, if you don't believe us, we'll show you, this is how it was. And it was pretty clear when we first saw it, the red mud.
Now, how big would you estimate George's hands are? I mean, we know they're far apart. I mean, you talked about the finger and whatnot. I mean, was there enough information in that mud to give you an idea of the size of George's hands?
When I try to put my palms towards it, I would probably have to expand my hands as far as I can, just to reach the indentions of each one of them. But the indentions of the trailer looks like the hands was just barely apart. So my hands has to be extended fully just to try to make the same marks as is, as even or well spread. But to me, it's like, that's impossible. Wow.
Some of our horses have been missing. And, well, we were driving. Usually we go down to our hunting grounds where our grandpa's like, oh, you can go hunting when your hunting season comes along, or you can go sit in one of those blinds and kind of like, see if any elk deer come by and all of that. So we're driving that way. We smell something bad. And we're like, hey, it's probably one of the horses, you know, probably not when I got to them, check what that is. So we're kind of like having that odor smell, and we saw the crow where it's coming from. So me and my sister were going up this hill. My mom and dad were like, just be careful, don't go too far. So we're okay. So we're like, we're just teasing around. We're like hound dogs trying to look for a carcass and just teasing. And then afterwards, so it's just looking around. And I was like, I think we're missing it, because we're going off the trail, and then we come back in. It's like in between that area, you smell something like the dead carcass. And then when I went right here, I was looking around. As soon as I looked to my left, we saw that horse, dead carcass. And I'm like, oh no, it's one of our favorite horses. And we went over there. It was a small baby horse, not small, but probably 3-year-old, like that small. And then when we're going over there, we put a trail cam over there, so you know, anything comes by, like a bobcat or anything. And my grandpa's like telling us, oh, if they poop on it or something like that, then it's their carcass, so they eat it. But when we went over there, we're looking at it, because all around it, it's like if you would dig something with your hands like this around it. And I was like, does a coyote do that? Does something do that? But it's like dirt on top of the carcass as well. So it was just like inwards like this and on top of the area. So that's when we put a camera there. But hardly nothing came by except birds and stuff. So I think he already knows that we put a camera there, so he's not going to show himself. But around that whole horse, it's like it looks like something was trying to cover it, or unless it's just like bearing something, I don't know. But the whole thing just like hand dug in, doing like this all around the horse, just right there. It's like, if it's other animals, we understand, because they just go over there and just eat it. They don't like tend to just like bury your own food and stuff, but they just go over there and eat it. But this one was just like we're trying to find like a bite mark, or like how, like any injuries, if probably someone thought it was a deer or something, shot it or something like that. But we didn't see anything like that. And we're trying to figure out how did it come, because for us, we're trying to figure out how did it, like, did it slide down and hit itself or something, or was it running from something or anything like that. So we're trying to check around like for tracks and stuff, and we're like, how did this one like just pass away just like this? And the head was going this way, and then we're just looking at the neck, like any bite marks, but there's no bite marks. And we're trying to figure out, what is that? Like, there's no cause of it, like injuries or anything like that. Then we're thinking probably it was sick, but yet it was like the belly was still full, and it was like you could see its muscles stuff, like not a sick horse. So after we were trying to figure it out, and my sister was like, that's getting scary, let's go back down. And we told our parents, and then they came up, and that whole thing, they're just looking at it. And grandpa was like, why would something bury a carcass or something like that? And grandpa's like, no animal does that at all. So we come up again to look at it again. You already know that probably coyotes already got to it, because there's prints now. So before that, it was just like dug hand marks in, and then I guess he already knew what we're gonna put there, camera. Because every time we try to like catch something on the camera, what's eating it and stuff, we're just trying to like be like, oh, that was there, that's fine. But yet again, it's like we still think, what the heck did that into the dirt? Like they're just trying to do that or something. And we're trying to figure out if we're just teasing, like if he's hanging from the tree and just doing this, it'll be funny. But we're like, what is that? Still trying to figure it out. Then I just know our grandpa was telling us stories about back in St. Michael, saying they found his friends and stuff tell him that they found like beheaded animals and stuff. So they're trying to figure out, because they're like, I don't know if he's being more aggressive now unless something like taunted him, but they're still unsure on how like that happened. Because there's one story where he said there's these horses, but yet the head's just off and it's just separated. And they're like, that's kind of like a clean cut if someone just brings out a horse, like there's no horse shot like through the body. And they're like, okay. That time where we pulled off down there and he were talking to us, we're like, are we sure we want to go up to the mountain? So we're like, we're just feeding the horses, right? You're like, yeah, just check the camera and stuff and get out. And then we're still going, but our grandpa kept telling us, just be careful, have your toys with you. And I guess the other story was where these guys had their cattle and stuff, and there's this one bull that they had to tie down because it was getting reckless with other people. So when they had the bull, I guess it was tied up. But the next day when they went to go grab it, I guess, don't know how, but it was over the ledge. And they saw it, but afterwards, I guess they're going to tell some people to come back. As soon as they came back, that bull was gone from the bottom. So yeah, every now and then we get scared coming up, but we're like, it's okay, we have our toys.
And he just ate a gigantic bull, right? So he should be full. Right?
Yeah.
He should be good for a while.
Yeah. The carcass she mentioned was a probably good size of a colt. I would probably say about this high. And like she said, there's no bite marks on the neck, the face, or the back of the buttocks, or even the legs. So that was the first thing we tried to check for, to pinpoint what was it, if it was mountain lion, we gotta watch out for them. If it's just regular coyotes, or if it was sick or whatever. And like she said, it was laying down on the side, but the neck was twisted backwards, well, like it was looking behind. And the only part that was eaten from that horse was where the belly was, right below the cage. That's the only part that was open. And even that didn't give a good detail on what ate it. There weren't like chunks of pieces missing, or blood even splat out, or any signs that an animal took it down. And what caught me off guard on that one was we didn't see a struggle at all. It was just like it was put there. And of course they had the markings where the feet, like maybe it was trying to kick or trying to get away, but that was the only markings that was there. Other than that, we didn't see a drag line or any struggle from it running away from something or anything like that.
Possibly something strong enough to break its neck.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, we thought that, but again, we walked around. We couldn't see no footprints or any certain detail if whatever got to it.
What was the ground like? Because I know there's a lot of patches where there's like thick pine needles on the ground.
Where we found it, it was kind of it was near some rocks. Where it was at, it was on dirt, soft enough where you can see your own footprints. But it was below a tree as well, so it wasn't in an opening. It was right below a tree. Like it was supposed to have been hidden